Dear friend, if you feel like giving up, if you feel like you have no strength left to keep going, then this message is for you. Maybe you've been fighting a battle for so long that you're exhausted. Maybe you've been praying, believing, and waiting, but nothing seems to change. Perhaps life has knocked you down one too many times, and you're wondering, God, where are you? Why am I still struggling? I want you to know that God sees you. He hears your cries. He knows the weight you're carrying. And today, He has placed this message in front of you because He is not done with you yet. It's easy to feel hopeless when you don't see a way out. It's easy to think that maybe this is the end of your story. But let me tell you something, your story is far from over. God is still working behind the scenes. He is still moving in ways you cannot see. Even when life seems to be falling apart, He is holding all the pieces together. So before you give up, before you let despair take over, listen to what God is saying to you today. You're about to discover just how much He loves you, how deeply He is fighting for you, and how He is preparing something greater than you can imagine. So, keep your heart open, because this could be the message that changes everything for you. My dear friend, I know that right now, you may feel like you're at the end of your rope. Maybe you've been fighting battles that no one else sees. You've been holding it together for so long, but deep down, you feel exhausted, drained, and empty. You might be wondering, how much longer can I do this? How much more can I take? For some of you, it's the weight of financial struggles. No matter how hard you work, it never seems to be enough. The bills keep piling up, and stress has become a constant companion. For others, it's the pain of broken relationships. Maybe someone you trusted turned their back on you. Maybe you feel abandoned, unappreciated, or unseen. And the loneliness is overwhelming. Or perhaps, you're facing a deep spiritual battle. You've been praying, seeking God, trying to hold on to faith, but you don't see the breakthrough. You wonder, God, why haven't you answered? Why do I still feel stuck? And the thought creeps in, maybe I should just give up. Give up on that dream. Give up on that prayer. Give up on believing things will ever change. You might even be feeling tempted to give up on yourself. But hear me when I say this, God has not brought you this far to leave you now. Your pain is not invisible to Him. Your struggles have not gone unnoticed. Your prayers have not been ignored. Even when you can't see it, even when you don't feel it, God is moving. Think about how many times you've already survived things that should have broken you. Think about the moments when you thought you couldn't go on, but somehow, you did. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was God. And if He carried you through before, He will carry you through again. It's easy to believe in God's goodness when everything is going right. But what about when life feels like it's falling apart? That is when your faith is tested. That is when you must hold on even tighter. Because, my friend, God is not finished with your story yet. Even the deepest valleys lead to radiant mountaintops when we trust in God's loving hand. So before you let despair win, before you let go of hope, stay with me, because what I'm about to share could change everything. God is speaking to you right now. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not abandoned. God sees the pain you carry, the silent battles you fight, the moments when you feel like you have no strength left to continue. And today, He is telling you, do not give up. I am still working. Your story is not over. Think about a book. When you read a chapter filled with struggle and hardship, you don't assume that's how the story ends. You know there's more to come. Right now, you might be in one of those difficult chapters of your life. It might feel like everything is stacked against you, like hope is slipping through your fingers. But listen to me, this is not the final chapter. God is still writing your story. One of the greatest lies the enemy tells us is that things will never change. That the pain you feel today will last forever. That you are stuck, forgotten, unloved. But that is not the truth. The truth is that God is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. God's delays are not his denials. Maybe you've been praying for something, a breakthrough, a restoration, a sign that God is still with you. And maybe you feel like your prayers are just bouncing off the walls, like nothing is happening. But hear this, God's silence does not mean he is absent. There are times when we cry out to God, expecting immediate answers, but he is asking us to trust him in the waiting. He is strengthening our faith, preparing our hearts, and setting the stage for something greater. Consider the story of Joseph. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It would have been easy for him to think, God has forgotten me. But what Joseph didn't realize was that every step of his hardship was leading him to his destiny. Had he given up in the pit, he never would have reached the palace. Had he stopped believing in prison, he never would have stepped into his purpose. What felt like delays were actually divine preparations. And the same is true for you. Your setback might be a setup for something greater. Think about how many times in the Bible God's people felt stuck, backed into a corner with no way out. Moses stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army behind him. It looked hopeless. But in that impossible moment, God made a way where there was no way. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. It looked like the end. But God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. Lazarus was dead for 4 days. It looked like all hope was gone. But Jesus spoke, and life returned where there had been death. If God can part the sea, if he can shut the mouths of lions, if he can bring the dead back to life, then he can move in your situation, too. Do not fear, God is with you. Fear is one of the biggest weapons the enemy uses to make us quit too soon. He whispers lies. You're not strong enough. You're not worthy. God has forgotten you. But God says, I am with you always. I will strengthen you and uphold you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. When you feel weak, God is your strength. When you feel lost, God is your guide. When you feel abandoned, God is your refuge. The enemy wants you to quit because he knows what's on the other side of your perseverance. But if you could see what God sees, if you could see the breakthrough, the healing, the restoration that is coming, you wouldn't even consider giving up. You would press on with renewed faith, knowing that your God is faithful. What can you do right now? If you're in a season where you feel like giving up, take a deep breath. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, fix your eyes on the one who never fails. Speak life over your situation. Instead of saying, I can't do this anymore, declare, God is fighting for me. Instead of saying, nothing is changing, declare, God is working even when I can't see it. Pray with faith. Not prayers of desperation, but prayers of trust. Say, Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you. I don't see a way, but I know you will make one. Keep moving forward. Even if it's just one small step at a time, don't stop. The enemy wants you to stay stuck in fear and doubt, but God is calling you forward. My dear friend, God's plans for you are not over. This season of struggle is not the end. It is just a chapter, and God is still writing your story. My dear friend, now that you understand God is still working in your life, the question is, how do you keep going? How do you hold on when everything in you wants to give up? It starts with faith, a faith that is not based on what you see, but on who God is. Faith is not just believing in God when life is easy. Faith is holding on to Him when everything is falling apart. It's choosing to trust that God is faithful even when life feels unfair. Think about a house. It stands strong because of its foundation. Without a solid foundation, the house cannot withstand the storm. Your foundation must be built on God's Word, His promises, and His presence. When the storms of life hit, when fear tries to creep in, when doubt whispers in your ear, you need a foundation that will not shake. You need the truth of who God is to hold you steady. Prayer is one of the most powerful ways to strengthen your faith. Prayer is not just a routine, it's a lifeline. When you feel weak, when your heart is overwhelmed, when you don't know what to do next, prayer connects you directly to the one who holds the universe in His hands. You don't have to have the perfect words. Even if all you can say is, "Jesus, I need you," that is enough. He hears every cry, and He responds with peace, with strength, and with comfort. The words you speak over your life also shape your faith. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and negativity, then your heart will start to believe those things. But when you speak God's promises, when you declare His truth over your life, something shifts. Instead of saying, "I can't do this anymore," declare, "God is fighting for me." Instead of saying, "Nothing is changing," declare, "God is working, even when I can't see it." Instead of saying, "I feel so alone," remind yourself, "God will never leave me nor forsake me." Fear grows in the absence of faith, but when you choose to fill your heart with God's truth, fear loses its power. Faith also requires action. It's one thing to believe in God's promises, but it's another to walk in them. Think of the stories of faith we know so well. Abraham didn't see the whole picture, but he obeyed God's call to step into the unknown. Peter didn't wait for the waves to calm, he stepped out of the boat while the storm was still raging. They didn't wait until things made sense. They trusted God and moved forward in faith. Right now, God is calling you to trust Him the same way. Maybe it means holding on to a promise that hasn't yet come to pass. Maybe it means trusting that God is working, even when the situation looks hopeless. Maybe it's simply deciding that you will not give up. Each small step of faith, even when taken in uncertainty, draws you closer to the breakthrough that God has already prepared. But you are not meant to walk this journey alone. There are people around you, people in your life right now, who need the same encouragement you are receiving today. When you remind someone that God is not done with them, your own faith is strengthened. When you encourage someone to keep going, hope rises within you, too. God is calling you to be a light to others, to speak life, to lift up those who are struggling. And as you do, you will find your own spirit renewed. Right now, your story may still have unanswered prayers, unfulfilled dreams, and moments of uncertainty. But God is still writing. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your victory is already written. Your story does not end in defeat, it ends in God's glory. So keep going. Keep believing. Keep trusting. God's plan for you is greater than you can imagine. His presence is with you. His love is holding you. His strength is carrying you forward. This is your moment to say, "I will not give up. I will trust in God." What you are going through right now is not where your journey stops. God is still moving, still working, still leading you forward. Even when life feels overwhelming, even when it seems like there is no way out, God has already made a way. You may not see it yet. You may not feel it yet. But His plans for you have not changed. His purpose for you is still alive. Everything you have faced has been shaping you, preparing you, making you stronger. Every trial, every struggle, every unanswered prayer has been working together for something greater than you can imagine. God's timing is perfect, and His promises are true. So do not give up. Do not let fear have the final word. Do not let doubt steal what God is doing in your life. Hold on to your faith. Stand firm in His promises. Keep moving forward. If this message has spoken to your heart today, I want you to declare it right now. In the comments, type these words: I will not give up. I trust in God. Let this be your declaration of faith. Let it be a reminder to yourself and to the enemy that your faith is stronger than your fear, your hope is greater than your doubt, and your story is far from over. And if you know someone who is struggling, someone who feels like giving up, share this video with them. Be the light in their darkness. Speak life into their situation. I also want to invite you to be part of this community of faith. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and join us for daily messages of hope and encouragement. Before we close, I want to pray a blessing over you. May the Lord strengthen your heart. May He fill you with unshakable faith. May He remind you that you are never alone, never forsaken, never without hope. May you walk forward in peace, knowing that God is holding you, guiding you, and preparing something greater than you could ever imagine. In His perfect timing, you will see His hand at work in ways that will leave you in awe. Amen. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Go forward in faith, knowing that God's presence goes with you now and always.